Hello, and welcome to my debut video on a continuing series called Energy Storage Lingo. I think there's a huge discrepancy in the solar industry with people using the wrong type of lingo or language, and it causes a lot of confusion. And if you know me, and if you've read the title of this video, you'll know it's no surprise that I start off with this because it is one of the most misused terms in our industry. So let's talk about modules versus panels. Somebody figured out if you put a bunch of copper tubes behind some glass and use the sun to heat up the water in the copper tube, you could store that hot water and then send it off to the building. This is called solar thermal. It came long before what we refer to as solar electric. Solar electric or solar photovoltaic or PV uses solar cells that are inside a module. A cell converts the sun's energy, specifically a photon, into direct current. And each one of those cells is connected together, and we send all that current into an inverter, which then converts the direct current into AC electricity, which is what we use in our homes. And so the question becomes, well, then why do we call these things panels if they're modules? Great question. And this stems back from the solar thermal days when the installers or homeowners or whoever kept associating the glass on the roof with a panel. Now, it doesn't help that even the module manufacturers call these things panels. And there are a lot of companies who call these things panels. Now, in the grand scheme of things, does it matter if it's a module or a panel? I mean, we call things that look similar the same thing all the time. Like we confuse them, right? Like a crocodile versus an alligator. And in the grand scheme, if somebody said, "Hey, Greg, there's a crocodile coming up behind you," and when I'm in Louisiana, I'm not that guy, and I'm not going to say, "Well, technically, there are no crocodiles in Louisiana. Crocodiles only live in the Everglades in Florida. And matter of fact, that's the only place in the world that crocodiles and alligators live together." Like, I'm not that guy, because by that time, whatever it is going to be eating half my ass for dinner. Module versus panel doesn't have that type of urgency, but it does cause confusion. Right? For example, I had a recent conversation with a homeowner who wanted to add batteries to an existing solar system. Okay? So I had to get into what AC coupling meant, which I will save for a different video. But I was telling this person that they would need a hybrid or battery inverter, they would need a battery, of course, and they would need an automatic transfer switch. And the automatic transfer switch would connect to the panel, and derp-a-derp-a-derp, off I went. And I got 10 minutes into this conversation, and the person said, "Well, I don't understand why this ATS, as you call it, would need to connect to the panels. I mean, isn't that DC? And then you're talking about AC? I don't understand that." So I had to back up the last 10 minutes of conversation and explain to them what I'm referring to. Again, our industry is being stupid. Okay, we are not using the right terminology. And what gets me is they call these things panels, but then they call something like this that goes underneath the panel a module level power electronic. It makes no sense. And again, I'm not that guy. I'm not gonna, well, technically, they're not panels, they're modules. Like, I don't do that. But in my head, I make the noise and the face when I hear panel of, That's what I think in my head. I don't know, maybe sometimes it slips out. And I've heard the argument many times. Well, that's what the homeowners know them as. They know them as panels, not modules. So we need to just use the terminology that they are familiar with. And I think that is a stupid reason, because we have a chance and we have an obligation in our industry to use the right terminology. Again, if you go to somebody that knows better and you say, "Man, I was down in Louisiana and I saw a butt ton of crocodiles," they will correct you. and they will probably call you an idiot because those are not crocodiles, they're alligators. We need to use the right terminology. And it seems like such a small thing, and it is. And again, I mean, it sounds like I'm on a stump and I'm on this like crusade to get the industry to stop using the improper word. And I would love it if they didn't, because then I don't have to like make the face. But for the rest of us that know better, we will use the right terminology because it's the right thing to do. All right, so that's enough on this topic. I do talk about this terminology and other terminology in our industry in my book, The Battery Powered Home. Going to give me a good little plug here. And if you want to get some heads up reading on what my next videos will be talking about, then go to Amazon, pick this up. It was a Amazon #1 bestseller. I highly recommend it. Okay, I wrote it for our industry to educate you. And I guarantee if you're a homeowner and you read this book, you will know more than the person that's knocking on your door asking you to buy solar for no money down and 0% interest for whatever their rate is. And I guarantee you, you will know more than the salesperson who gives you that follow-up call. I guarantee it. And when you listen to them, you will hear them use the improper terminology, not only solar versus module, but some other terms that I will cover in other videos. So that's it for this session. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.